Millions of Americans are dreading this. They're preparing to resume paying back their student loans in October.
Yeah, this is a big deal for so many people. This comes after the Supreme Court overturned President Biden's plan to forgive up to $20,000 in debt just last week.
Now, according to the Education Data Initiative, more than 43 million Americans hold federal student loans. They owe an average of more than $37,000.
Joining us now to talk about this is Emily Irwin. She's the Managing Director and Senior Director of Advice at Wells Fargo Wealth and Investment Management. I like that, Senior Director of Advice. So give us some, because you've got millions of Americans out there right now who spent almost a year assuming that the tens of thousands of dollars of debt would be forgiven. What should those borrowers do now if they're just not financially ready to resume payments come October?
Good morning. Well, if you're in a position that you are feeling overwhelmed with the payments that will be resuming in October, the first thing to do is to contact your loan servicer. You want to make sure that you understand what your minimum payment is and what repayment plan you're currently under. You also want to explore via a loan simulator available at studentloans.gov what your possible repayment plans may be if you have alternatives available to you. And then finally, put a budget into place and try to implement that budget now to understand what it feels like to live within it in the next few months.
Emily, who should consider potentially refinancing some of these loans?
If you're in a position that you have a private student loan, you might very well want to explore refinancing options. However, you want to make sure the goal is to pay less. So what does it feel like if you can get a lower interest rate or shorten the duration or term of your loan? However, if you're close to paying off your loans, or you have a poor credit score, or you're availing yourselves of some of the loan forgiveness programs or income driven repayment programs, it may not be a good fit for you to actually refinance your loans at this time.
That's a really good point. And your advice about creating a budget is solid advice, even for those who don't have to repay student loans back. You know, financial advisors like yourself will always say, just making the budget, seeing the numbers, you'll identify some waste and be able to save money that way. We know the Biden administration has announced new measures to provide relief called the SAVE Plan. Tell us about that and how folks may be able to take advantage.
Well, all borrowers will be eligible, and there will be an application available later this summer. If you're currently in the repay program, you'll automatically be enrolled. However, this will enable borrowers to reduce their payments up to 50%. It will also be able to have original loans that are less than $12,000 to be forgiven those balances after 10 years. The effect of that is community college borrowers will effectively have a 0 payment plan. It will raise the amount of income that's considered non-discretionary. And finally, there's going to be a 12-month ramp-on period. This is really important because if you are in a position that you are struggling with making your repayments, you will not have your delinquent payment either sent to a credit bureau or to a debt collection agency, and therefore it won't harm you financially in the long term.
Oh, wow. So it seems like research and communication is key no matter what your situation. There are options there for you. Emily Irwin, thank you so much. Now we know why you're the Senior Director of Advice there at Wells Fargo. Thanks for your time.